Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have a Q&A for you in which nobody asked for, but y'all sent in questions and I was strapped for content, so I thought why not? A bunch of questions that you had for me over on Instagram. I hope that you enjoy this as much as I regretted it. Doing it anyway. Alright, let me figure out how the actual shit I find it. First question, and question that I got asked probably the most, is when can we have the next Dark Dawn film / Nevernight film? What's going on with Nevernight? Are we gonna get more Nevernight? Can we have more Nevernight, please? Yes, but currently where it's at now, I can't talk about it, but just know that if things go well, you will be getting more, and it will not be a web series. That's all I can say now, but you'll be the first to know when I can tell you. So for now, that's what you get. What is your favorite thing about your job? So I have 4 jobs. First of all, I'm an actor / filmmaker, so all of that. I also work part-time as a vet nurse. My favorite part of that is probably just being around animals, learning about animal things, and just kind of keeping up to date with the changes in like the medical field in regards to animals. My favorite thing about working at the stunt place is obviously getting to do cool stunts, but also working with a really great group of people who are inspirational and supportive and just kind of want the best for you in general. So that's kind of one of all of the things that I do. What are you reading right now? Today I'm about to start Memory of Souls by Jen Lyons, which is the 3rd book in, I don't know what the actual trilogy is called, but Ruin of Kings, Name of All Things, all that sort of stuff. I was debating starting book 1 again and reading book 1, book 2, and then book 3 because it is such a big book that requires so much brain power. So I was just gonna start from the beginning, but I think I might just read Memory of Souls, and then if I love it, go back and read all 3 again. I stopped reading Maximum Ride after the final warning. Is it worth reading the rest of the series? No. What's this year's most overrated book? Me, I would definitely say The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, which I just read. I have a video to why I think it's that. There was just a lot of hype around this book and it just really missed the mark for me, so I wasn't about it. Female fantasy book recommendations. So there's a few, some of them that have the main couple, female, some of them that have side couples. 7 Blades in Black by Sam Sykes, Gideon the Ninth by Tasman Muir, Bloody Rose by Nicholas Ames, The Book of the Ancestor series by Mark Lawrence, A Memory Called Empire, Steel Crow Saga, and maybe like The Midnight Lie. Those are probably like the ones that I can think of that come to my mind of like good female relationships, or just like ones that are there. How's Operation Get Jacked going? It's not. I've had a few things pop up medically that prevent me from doing so, but I'm still trying to get to the gym 2 or 3 times a week with a PT. So like slowly but surely, it'll happen, just not right now. How are you? Just a lot of you wanted to know how I was, and I really appreciate that. I'm doing well, actually. I've got lots of things going on that have just kind of taken all of my brain power and have just left me really tired at the end of the day. Just trying to keep on top of everything and trying to stay motivated. Like I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed and sleeping. So I haven't been reading as much because I haven't really been excited for any books. I'm hoping in the new year that'll change. I generally get pretty flat at this time of year just because, you know, like everything's done and it's wrapping up and you're just kind of getting into that holiday phase. So just trying to take more time to enjoy that and relax before getting into a really busy next year. What's your dream role or character? It's kind of any of my favorite protagonists in any book to film adaptation, like Mia, Sal, Gideon, which I don't look like so it would never happen, Victra, or fucking give me Feyre, give me Aelin, just give me, literally, I would just like to act in book to film adaptations is pretty much it. As well as trying to make my original work, but mostly book to film adaptations. What got you to start your YouTube channel and acting? I've been acting since I was like 13. I just loved it. I never really had any other plans. It was always just gonna be playing make-believe. Mostly that, and mostly, yeah, just reading. Like I loved the characters in books and it made me feel a little less alone. And I've got videos to this kind of stuff all around, but it just kind of seemed like a natural progression to go from acting to making my own stuff to do with books. If you could drop everything and go on a holiday to a fantasy book world right now, where would you go? Somewhere that I could do nothing. Like it depends. Like these questions for me always throw me because I'm like, am I me in the fantasy world or am I like a main character? Like am I Mia in Nevernight or am I me stepping into Nevernight? All of the weird things that come with that, like do I have magical abilities if it's in a place that has magical abilities to survive and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. I don't know. Have you read the new Maximum Ride book? I do. I have a video to it. I'm not gonna waste my breath on it anymore. You can watch that video. Thoughts on Valhalla? Like I said, I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I didn't like it to begin with because it was so It's slow plot-wise and to build up strength. It's just really different to Odyssey. In Odyssey, it was like hack and slash, you had armor and weapons coming in at you from every angle, whereas this one, it's very much about like you get 3 or 4 weapons, you get 1 piece of armor unless you find it. It takes you ages to build skill, which means you pretty much get fucked up every time to begin with. So that annoyed me because I'm very much a hack and slash player, but I've had to become more of like a stealth smart player, which has been super annoying, but I'm at a good place with it now. Like it's going well now. If I was to get another tattoo, what would it be? I really want a sleeve, like a full sleeve. I don't know of what. I always wanted some like dope back piece inspired by like Greek mythology. I don't know what, but I can't because I'm an actor. But I've always wanted a sleeve, and I always figured like if I ever give up my acting dreams, the first thing I would do would be to get a full sleeve tattoo. Do you plan on having kids soon? And if so, what bookish names would you give them? Yeah, maybe. Like I haven't really thought about it too much. It's just kind of like, if it happens, it happens. Name wise, there are a few names that I like. Like I'm not gonna call my kid Mia or Max or anything obvious. Like I'm not gonna have a son and call it Recent. There are a few names that I've seen from books that I like that, you know, might not be my favorite book or a character that I like, but I like the names. But that being said, like it'll be I'll pop it out, I'll look at it and I'll go, yes, Frank. I won't, but you know what I mean? Like you never know until you look it into its face. How's the pit going? When can we see it? The pit is going very well. I had an update for it in my last vlog. It is currently in the final stages of editing and grading, just because obviously there's a lot of special effects that go with it. So it's taking a bit longer, but hopefully by the end of the year, early next. What's a book character you'd most like to have dinner with? I mean, any of my favorites. Like I feel like I'd have a really great time with like Sal or Gideon or Mia, just because we're all super similar personality wise, so I just think it would be fun more than anything. Chaotic and fun. How are all the animals going? The animals are going really well. Otto is doing well, the cats are doing well, the birds are doing well. We just rehomed the snake. We had a snake called Midas. I'm not sure if any of you really knew. He is off to a nice new home with a vet nurse and another snake. We just didn't have the time for him, and I just wanted to give him to somebody who would have the time to handle him and give him the attention that he deserves, which we just didn't really have with 7 animals, plus ourselves and busy work schedules. So he's off to a new home, but that's okay. Will you ever consider a buddy read with your community? So I do. I have a whole Patreon and we do a lot of buddy reads over there. I also have a book club that I co-host with a bunch of girls called The Name of the Book, which I will link down below. So we do a monthly book every month, and I do the same over on my Patreon where we pick a book, we read it throughout the month, we talk about it on our Discord server. Yeah, so that is also linked below if you're interested. What tips would you give to someone looking to start their own channel? It's a tough one because it's really changed since I started. I would just say do what you enjoy. Don't kind of feel like you have to fit into having a big aesthetic bookcase or reading popular books or loving the most popular YA or having the saltiest opinions. Like just, my favorite videos to watch are people who love a book and they just want to tell you all about that book. And like every now and again, yeah, it's cool to watch a book where it's just pure salt and look how smart I am with my funny salt noises and shit. But I also really like books that, you know, if I'm looking for a review for a book, I want to go to someone who's read the whole book and has genuine opinions on the whole book, not just like slagging it off or not just blowing it up about how great it is, which I'm guilty of every now and again. So those are my favorites. You know, just talk about what you enjoy. Like, I mean, I know a lot of my videos don't get huge views, but I still enjoy making them. I still enjoy having read the book that I read for it. I'm not trying to crack the algorithm. I'm not trying to become viral. I'm just talking to the small group of people who I know like and appreciate my stuff and have the same taste as me in that regard. No, I will never write a book. I will write scripts, but I will never write a book. How did you figure out you're bi/queer? I did a lot of hiding in the closet for a lot of my life because I didn't know. So when I was younger, I spent a lot of time on the internet looking at tits. I would often hyper-focus on women in sex scenes. I would think that I wanted to be this woman as opposed to being with this woman, and it would kind of just... I'm bi. For anyone who's interested, I identify as bi or pan, or just I love anyone and everyone who I find interesting. Mostly women. But yeah, I just kind of, I didn't know what it was, and it's shitty to say, but I remember when I was still in high school, it was a lot of, the word gay was used as a slur. So every now and again you'd hear, oh, don't be gay, or that's so gay, or I bet you're fucking gay. And that would be like offensive to you. It was wrong, and knowing now that it is wrong, it's really interesting that you don't, what you learn, like the power of words. The amount of times that I've caught my friends, even now, being like, oh, that's fucking gay. Like, and just having to make that mental shift between that's not a slur, that's not a bad thing, or like you don't need to say, you can say that's lame or that's shit. You don't have to say that's fucking gay as if it's a bad thing. So that was a big shift for me in that. Getting out of high school was a big thing. Finding a relationship, albeit with a straight white man, that allowed me to accept that side of myself more than anything, and I found a lot of it in fiction. I found a lot of it in the books that I read and the characters that I loved, that I was like, oh, it's essentially, it's okay. It's weird, everyone kind of finds their truth in different places, and for me, mine was largely fiction. It was looking at Mia, looking at Sal, looking at other characters and being like, oh, I feel like that too. I just didn't know it, or I didn't want to acknowledge it. And not that I was, I mean, in high school, yeah, I'm gonna say ashamed isn't the right word, but just not, I didn't know that's what it was. I thought that I was just a freak. I thought I was weird because nobody else was open about that. People may have been like that, but they weren't open about it. Really weird place growing up as a kid. And I mean, I'm sure it still happens in high schools today. And it's not until you get out and you have the forethought and the hindsight to be like, oh, I see it now. But that being said, like, I've been with Jacob since I was 18. And it wasn't until I was kind of like 20, 21 that I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I identify as bisexual or pansexual. I'm attracted to women. And, you know, he's obviously, for the first like year or so, it was very much like, oh, okay, well, how do we navigate this? Yeah, I mean, he is wonderful. He's accepting, he gets it. Now we hit on the same women. He'd be like, oh, do you think she's hot? And I'd be like, nah, she's not my type, but she's your type, or something like that. So it's just fun. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I love Jacob over anyone. And so it just happens that he is a man. But it would be the same if he was a woman or non-binary or anything like that. So yeah, that's kind of, my story wasn't anything. I didn't have some big grand coming out. I didn't have really any struggles or face any hardship about it. I mean, every now and again, I've got a few friends who, I'm not gonna say discounted, but my experience of coming out was different to theirs. And because theirs was harder, it makes it harder for them to accept that I literally just was like, oh, hey, I like women. And people were like, cool, we knew, as opposed to having a family who wasn't accepting, friends who weren't accepting, and being afraid. I can acknowledge that it hurts every now and again, but you know, at the end of the day, there's no harm meant by it. And obviously being in a hetero-passing relationship does make it a little more confusing to people. Sexuality is a sliding, what is it, a scale? It changes and varies and it's fluid and all of those things. But I love anyone, I accept anyone, I don't have any qualms with anyone unless you're an asshole or a racist or a homophobe. Plus a bunch of other things, but yeah, I mean, it's different for everyone. That was my big rant. Anyway, those are all the questions I have time for right now. So thank you for sending them in. If I answered your question, I hope that was well enough. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below and I will get back to you. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.